Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Everton News Daily for Friday, the 19th of August 2016. Today, the main news regarding Everton is Kone turns down new Sunderland deal. Rachid Ghezzal edges closer to Goodison move. And Joe Hart looks as though he may be open to moving to Merseyside as well. Let's begin with the biggest one of those. Lamine Kone. David Moyes had his pre-match press conference today, and he said that Lamine Kone has he said he turned up with a bad back, so he won't be involved on Sunday. He also went on, of course, David Moyes, to say that Lamine Kone has rejected the new deal offered to him by Sunderland. He confirmed that Sunderland had received a bid from Everton for the big defender, and it looks now as though this move will probably go ahead. I should imagine that Moyes will just want it done and dusted quickly, get Kone out the door and move on to new targets. Why keep someone who's not really bothered about playing for you? You may as well take the money and go. David Moyes, obviously, loads of experience in this, but did once say, while he was Manchester United manager, that you shouldn't stand in the way of players who are trying to further their career. So make of that what you will. But Lamine Kone, it looks as though he's about to head out of the exit door at the Stadium of Light and move to Everton. What are your thoughts on that? I've not seen that much of him. I've said before, I think he's a big, strong lad. I think it's just Ronald Koeman, with defenders, no worries whatsoever there. I think he'd done really well for Sunderland last year. When he come in January. Few Sunderland fans I've spoken to said he's excellent and they really, really don't want to lose him. So what are your thoughts on him? Be a good signing for Everton. You'd like to think that he will probably go into a back three maybe with Ashley Williams and Jagielka. Who knows, but it's just more competition for places, isn't it? But that looks as though that may go ahead now due to Kone rejecting that new Sunderland deal. The new Sunderland deal he said he wanted. Makes a change for us to be on the other side of the fence, doesn't it? Where while these players are trying to get away from the clubs to come to us. Moving on, Rachid Ghezzal, done a little bit on him yesterday. More news out today that it looks as though he favours a move to Everton. Representatives have apparently spoke to Everton's representatives, and that one looks as though it may happen as well. I suppose from Ghezzal, his form for Lyon, he got in the second half of the season. A little bit like Kone's situation, really, done really well. Hasn't played that many times for them in terms of starting games. I know that journalist Andy Brassel was speaking about him today and said that he's a good player in the Mahrez mould. He can play off. He normally plays on the right and comes in onto his left foot. Got a good turn of pace about him. He's tricky. He looks like a Steve Walsh one, doesn't he? And he'd be an interesting one, I think, if Everton got him, just for the fact that he's probably a little bit of a gamble. If you can, is it a gamble? I think the fee's around £10 million. Is that a gamble nowadays when you see other players and what, we just signed Yannick Bolasie for 25 million and other players have gone for big fees. So is that a gamble? I don't know. He's at a good age. Certainly someone we're not sure about, isn't it? And it'd be interesting to see if he can come in and do it. So yeah, it's going to be a watch this space with that one. Looks as though it's promising. Joe Hart, the England international, out of favour at Manchester City. Looks as though they're going to sign Bravo from Barcelona. Barcelona look as though they're going to sign what's his name? Cillessen from Ajax, who we were linked quite heavily with. So that little chain of events then would lead, of course, to Everton signing Joe Hart. It looks as though, anyway. It looks as though it could be a loan deal, potentially, while we look at each other and see whether, we want to go big for him next summer or whether Joe wants to remain at Everton. If he does actually come or whether he'd want to go back to City. It's all ifs and buts at the moment. But it's positive news. With regards to that, Ronald Koeman confirmed in his press conference yesterday that he wanted a third goalkeeper. Joe Hart, high-profile keeper, of course. It would be quite a statement for Everton. I know that there's people out there that don't want Joe Hart, but I'm trusting Ronald Koeman. Joe Hart for me still one of the top keepers in the league, without a shadow, still probably one of the top goalies in Europe, in the top 10. But he's still much, much better than what we have. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I think him and Stekelenburg would be the 1 and 2. Not really sure what that does with Joel, whether he'd go out on loan or what have you. But it looks as though, all the news today is that Hart favours a move to Everton, favours a loan move if you believe the stories. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that develops. Obviously now just 13 days remaining of the transfer window. I think things will kick on. One thing to point out, Kone has been offered a big deal. Joe Hart will be big wages. So Everton will probably have to, move out the likes of Nias as quickly as we can. Possibly Aidan McGeady and 1 or 2 others as well, just to free up some extra wages from the pot so that we can go and get, a centre forward that we desperately need. So it may be that if we can get Kone and Hart in through the door, we may be going closer to deadline day in terms of bringing in a centre forward as we try to make sure that everything fits in with FFP. But, we'll wait and see on that one. That's just a different little angle to it, and that's something that we need to look at. Finally, Joe Anderson last night, a conversation with an Evertonian that was sweet talking him, again hinted that the Docks is looking promising, very, very promising for Everton. So that's really, really good. That'd be fantastic, won't it, if we could get that kind of over the line and that announcement made and everything moving forward with that would be unreal for us. It would certainly be a game changer. The new stadium where we want it and everything else will be incredible. And it wouldn't be bad business for a fraud that people have called Mashiri, which is just a very, very strange one to me. But it'd be great to be further sign that we are moving forward under Farhad Mashiri. He's only been here since February. The changes are quite stark, really, already. But from new stadium on the Docks to Goodison Park, someone tweeted yesterday bits of cladding going up around Goodison Park now. So the development, externally for Goodison Park has taken place. And I think the club are hoping that that's all complete in time for the visit of Stoke City next Saturday. So that'll be good as well to see. Obviously, we'll all be there, or a lot of us will be there for the Yeovil game on Tuesday. So I'm not sure how much they will get done before then. But it's all good. It's all moving in the right direction. Let me know your comments in the section below. Anything I haven't talked about. Comments on the 3 or 4 strands I've spoken about today. Give us a follow. Give us a like. Give us a share on Facebook. And me and Ped will be back in the studio on Monday with a couple of guests talking about Everton's trip to West Bromwich Albion. Come on, boys. Let's get the 3 points and give Ronald Koeman his first victory as Everton boss. I'll catch you next time on Toffee TV.